All right, everybody, we're going to pick up wherever we left off. Some of you are a little further, some of you are starting around here. If you're a little further, just fast forward in the video, find where you are, or go to the next one. So, activity 3 in lesson 6, you are looking for, in this specific section of the text, as a detective, we want to organize our ideas to understand how these claims and arguments about how yellow fever was spread are supported. So, first thing we're going to do is look at these facts to see what specific claim is being presented in the text. So, the claim is the argument, it's the position. What is being said in yellow fever? So, pick your text or pick your sentence, whichever you think is the claim. In card 2, you're going to do this part individually if you haven't done it in pairs already. You are going to take what we highlighted or you're annotated, and what did the team do? So, what investigative steps did they take? And what did they learn from what they did? So, their investigation, and then what is the result of their investigation? So, you're going to copy and paste. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're going to copy and paste what they did right here. And then in your own words, you explain the result of that part of the experiment. Okay. They tested this. This is what they learned from the result. They tested this. This is what they learned from the result. And then you're going to decide, does that evidence from here support, oppose, or does not apply to for how this is being spread? Go to the evidence app and you're going to evaluate that evidence. Card 3. We are looking still at these experiments, which are stated with, at least the hypothesis is stated with an if-then theory. So if something happens, then these are the results that you expect. Now, remember, a hypothesis is just your idea about what's going to happen. The testing is what gives you the actual results. So here is how you can explain the results. So explain what happened. Therefore, the scientist will probably conclude that the theory that you wrote up here is either true or false. So the expected results are written here, but then you write what the actual results are, and sorry, and then explain if the theory is true or false. So if Bacillus icteroides cause yellow fever, then what should they see from their experiment? If the researchers didn't find that in their samples, therefore the scientists will conclude something else. All right, hand that in. In activity 4, you were going to write what observations the scientists made about the prisoner who died of yellow fever at Pinar del Rio. So, what did they observe? So, this is like their notes, their observations. What did they see about the person? What did they see about the person's environment, their surroundings? What were they touching? What were they lying next to? What did they have in their hair? What did they eat? What information did they collect? And you're going to list all of that right here. And then what did the team learn from how they experimented with what they observed, right? So if they saw that the prisoner did something and did this, but how did the prisoner's exposure to yellow fever happen? That's what they're trying to find out. You're going to explain what they learned from their observations of the prisoner. Again, this evidence right here, is it supportive? Is it opposing? Does it not apply? Card 2. Summarize the team's investigation of the prisoner's case of yellow fever by deciding yes or no. So, was the prisoner infected with yellow fever? Did they die from yellow fever? Recently near yellow fever patients? Or recently near infected bedding or clothing? what hypothesis could the team have investigated, or what was the hypothesis the team could have investigated from the situation? So you're going to write that as an if-then statement right here. And then what did the team learn from this event? That's your therefore statements explaining the results of the experiment, not the expected results from the hypothesis, but the results from the actual experiment. And that will explain how they understand the prisoner's death. Hand that in. Activity 5. You're going to launch the evidence app to complete those. If you need help, go back and look at the evidence app video from a previous lesson. And then you're going to read this quickly, the paragraph quickly about from chapter 5. Reread that. And now you're going to do a writing. So before you start, you're going to set yourself a 10-minute timer. This says 10 minutes. You need at least 150 words. We're going to up that to challenge you. And think about these things. Is there strong evidence to either support or refute the theory that yellow fever is transmitted by strong evidence that the bacteria Icteroides is the source of yellow fever or not? Strong evidence that contaminated clothing is or is not the source of yellow fever transmission? Strong evidence that mosquitoes are the source of yellow fever transmission. And then you are going to write. You need to explain 2 pieces of evidence that support one of your explanation of the theory. So your claim is going to be that one of those theories is the strongest evidence for how yellow fever is getting spread. You need 150 words with 2 pieces of evidence to explain how you know at this point in time that one of those theories is causing the spread of yellow fever. Be sure to use these words down at the bottom: contaminated, bacteria, germs, hypothesis, infected, yellow fever. We're not going to share our writing right now. Go ahead and head over to activity 8. Write a hypothesis. How could the prisoner at Pinar del Rio have become infected with yellow fever? This needs to be an if-then statement. And then complete your exit ticket, just one question. Go ahead and work on your solo if there is still time. Reading these sections and answering the questions. So this is about Dr. Finlay. He is another researcher that the team is visiting to learn more information. Be sure you read each one of these passages. They're very, very short, 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, and answer the questions.